The yin and yang of people. Are we good people? Are we bad people? Or are we both? Since everything is relative, we must understand that people can be good or bad depending on the perspective from which we measure their actions. Life, like the seasons of the year, is a constant cycle of changes and nuances. Just like the weather, people may be experiencing a spring, autumn, summer, or winter in their lives. These cycles apply not only to personal experiences but also to relationships with others. We may be bringing light to some and darkness to others. We may be rushing to deliver a gift while, at the same time, anxiously crossing a red light, causing harm and bringing darkness to others. This complexity of life invites us to reflect on human nature. In personal relationships, we must rely on our intuition to discern whether we are experiencing a winter at the poles or a winter at the equator. The equation changes drastically, doesn't it? Summer, for example, can be very pleasant, but there are heats that hurt, like an extremely hot afternoon in the middle of the desert. If we identify heat as a form of affection, that afternoon in the desert would be like the overprotection that some people receive, which can be detrimental in facing life's obstacles. At the other extreme, we find the most intense cold on a night in the harshest winter, where, psychologically, we could encounter the coldest indifference or the total absence of affection for others. Moving away from these extremes allows us to find various intermediate states. For example, a pleasant summer night at the beach or a walk through a park in autumn, with ochre-colored leaves, leads us to moments of tranquility and reflection. People can be good or bad depending on various factors. While someone may be giving us light and we perceive their actions as kindness, at the same time, with that act or another, they could be bringing darkness to others, for example, through their absence. The polarity of our lights and shadows is inevitable. Therefore, it is important to be aware of how we influence others and to maintain a balance. Otherwise, we risk becoming unstable for ourselves and our surroundings. What is your character like? Are you a Mediterranean country with hot summers and mild winters where the other two seasons barely make an impact? Or are your seasons well-defined? Do you harbor the rigorous climates of the steppes and deserts within your character? People will have different opinions about us, and that is something we must accept. These perceptions depend on the season we have allowed them to experience, and how much light and shadow we have given them. Ultimately, goodness and evil are relative concepts, influenced by circumstances and individual perspectives. Someone may be good to us while being bad to others. If they shop at our store, they will stop shopping at another, and vice versa. This could push us to seek more customers, and by this, I do not mean infidelity, but rather having more alternatives to keep our store running. If we lack attention and the person in question is absent for various reasons, we must learn to enjoy being alone or replace that absence with other beings in our environment, which is full of life. Just as the so-called planets orbit, giving more or less light and heat to their traveling companions, people go through cycles that repeat throughout their existence. Wisdom lies in identifying these patterns. In the first person, to anticipate our own seasons and upcoming moods. In the third person, to understand the cycles of those around us. When we detect winter in others, we can be the fire that warms them, manifested as affection, closeness, or love. In the face of the suffocating heat of jealousy or overprotection, we can offer shade and water, representing trust and security. Understanding these life cycles allows us to navigate the different atmospheres of our social environment with greater skill, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for mutual growth. To conclude, if you notice that someone arrives with cold, try lighting a heater and giving them warmth, a gesture of affection, to see if it helps. And if they arrive with excessive heat from jealousy or overprotection, try giving them an ice cream, security, and confidence, to help them cool down. The truth is that both cold and hot climates can be enjoyed, but in moderation and with the right tools at hand to balance these temperatures and maintain harmony with others.